G'day, it's Rob here again. Well, regular viewers of my channel will know that I'm a big fan of collets. And yeah, collets in the headstock, collets in the tailstock. They are the ultimate holding system for small diameter work. Won't mark the work, won't crush threads or pinch and deform stuff. It's an excellent thing. And it's interesting, you know, when you look at lathes for sale, second-hand lathes, 95% of the time at least, you'd never see a collet set with any of them. I'm sure the vast majority of metal lathe owners wouldn't have a clue about collets, and they just do the basic stuff. A lot of them don't even use the forge jaw. You know, you look at these second-hand lathes and the forge jaws look like brand new. They just use the scroll chuck, and that's probably all they ever get around to doing. It sort of does the job, but they're not terribly accurate. Anyway, if you do want to fit collets to your lathe, it will primarily deal with modern lathes. New lathes are pretty much all Chinese in the budget range for the home handyman. This is a 10-inch swing unit. It's been a good unit. I've had it for a long time. Done a lot of work. So what's the setup if you want to add a collet chuck to your Chinese lathe? Well, all the Chinese lathes will have either a Morse taper in the spindle, a driving plate with a peg engagement in the back of the chuck, or some of them will have a screw thread like the 9x20s and things like that. Now the bulk of the lathes use this system, which is a Morse taper, collet chuck, which goes in, and then a big bolt goes through the middle of the spindle, pulls that collet system up tight. The collet chuck's pulled in, away you go. There's a downside. The downside is that as you've got this thumping big hunk of steel going up the middle of the spindle, you can't put anything right through the spindle. You can't feed through as you can with some other systems. If we're not going to use this type of collet chuck because we want to have feed through, what's the alternative? Well, the alternative is, if you've got a 9x20, you can screw on a collet chuck, and as the outside of the spindle is threaded, you basically just have a collet chuck with a female threaded section to go over that thread. The collet chuck can be open all the way through because all the gripping's being done on the outside of the spindle. You can actually use this type of collet chuck with a thread on the outside and have a draw tube. It's very similar to how the 5C and the W20 collet systems work, and that way you can then feed through that draw tube, but the draw tube will take up a certain amount of your spindle internal diameter, and so you're going to be restricted in what size you can put through. Okay, there's got to be an alternative, and there is actually a very good alternative that I've not used yet, but I'm going to try it out, and that is you basically emulate the back of the chuck with the collet chuck. So the collet chuck would be like that, but it would have a driving plate incorporated into it, and that would mate with the register on the back of the, the front of the drive plate. Let's have a look at the existing chuck and we'll see what I mean. Alright, you can see here that here is the internal diameter of the back of the chuck, and that matches this proud section here. So it's a precision fit. Then it bolts up around the edge on these 3 points. Now, all you have to do is really have an adapter plate that incorporates collet chuck. So basically, you know, imagine this collet chuck with a section of the back of the chuck built onto it. You know, it was just to bolt up onto it, the same as this chuck would just bolt up onto it. And you can buy them. Now, Banggood have sent me one, and I'm going to be looking at it in the next video. This is just a bit of a prelim. And basically, it's exactly that. It's a collet chuck with a drive plate, a female section drive plate, which matches up with this male section here. 3 bolts to hold it. You're good to go. You can feed right through. There's nothing to go up the centre of the spindle like this. And it's a pretty basic, simple setup. The only downside is that in the larger sizes, they're not readily available. Most of the ones that are being sold seem to be for the 7-inch swing lathes. This is a 10-inch. The 7-inch have a 50mm internal recess, which you would have to match up on that. The way around it is that you could actually fit one of the 7-inch swing ones on the 10-inch just to use an adapter plate, which is pretty simple to make up. So yeah, all you got to do is just get some suitable material, cast iron and steel, and machine up the plate, and then so it matches up, so it goes onto here, and then machine up the other side so it goes into the back of your collet chuck. So what do these collet chucks look like? Okay, and here's the one Banggood sent me, which we're going to look at in the next video closely, and we're going to try and fit this to the Spindle lathe using the dog drive plate that I radially drilled and balanced in a previous video. But for now, this is it. You can see it's the same configuration, diameter smaller, same feed through. So basically, this comes out. This goes on like that, but of course, it'll be bolting up onto a smaller drive plate. You can feed right through. There's nothing to stop you. There's nothing interfering with the centre of it. So that's the go. That's what we're going to be looking at next. If you're interested in this, well, yep, check it out. And yeah, as I said, we'll try and get it to work on the Spindle. I've done a preliminary test of this to see how it fits, and it fits perfectly accurately. So I'm not expecting any issues, but they're famous last words. Things have been known to go wrong before in most workshops. So anyway, that's it from me. Stay tuned, and we'll check it out and see how good this little baby really is. Cheers.